Founder Culture, the podcast for founders and startup leaders who understand that building a business may be hard, but building a team, now that's where things get tricky. I'm Romaine Wright, founder of Just Right Consulting LLC and creator of Thrive or Derive. In every episode, I take one real team issue, break down the behaviors driving it, and provide strategies on how to fix it. Welcome to the show. So I am super excited for today's episode, even more than normal, because I am joined by a wonderful guest who is an amazing person and a great friend of mine. That's most important for me. But today we have Serita Lewis on the show. Welcome, Serita.
Thank you, Romaine.
Serita is founder of UrbnSEEK, and UrbnSEEK helps companies create meaningful connections in underserved neighborhoods through impactful, community-driven experiences. Now, Serita, I recorded an episode on the hero habit, which is all about doing too much, right? For those of us who want to do all the things and really struggle with asking for help when we need it. Mm-hmm. Now, I've asked you to come and talk with us about the hero habit because you are one of the best people I've seen on managing strategic partnerships, not just to get your work done, but also to elevate and enhance the quality of the offerings that you coordinate and deliver. So I want you to tell us about that. We're going to jump right into it. Just in case I forget at the end, to learn more about Serita and her company, hop in the show notes because we're going to talk directly about this hero habit and her skills. All right. So Serita, let's start at the top. Tell us, how do you know when you need help and when you're like, okay, I need to get someone to help me do this?
I spent a lot of years on the other side of it and having that hero thing because I'm a mom. I have 2 daughters. And, as a single mom, you end up doing everything because you can't really rely on other people, or you kind of don't want to, because if you are relying on folks and they let you down, it's much bigger stakes because it's your kids. Mm-hmm. And the same thing kind of goes with when you are starting a business and running a business. That's your baby. Right. Mm-hmm. And if you're a solopreneur, it literally is like you are every component of it. And you can trust you to fix things and to break things, but know how to fix them. Mm-hmm. Or give yourself permission to say, I'm fine with whatever. So to go from having children who were like, Mom, I got this. And my youngest daughter, actually, she told me one time, she was like, I will figure it out. I will figure it out. So that meant that I got to kind of, okay, well, I got to figure out how to step back. Mm-hmm. And learning how to step back with them meant I had to learn how to step back with work too, because I also realized there were things I didn't want to do. I didn't. Yeah. I want to have them done. Mm-hmm. I don't want to do it. Mm-hmm. And I was doing it because I could. I'm not bad at these things, but I really would prefer that somebody be an expert at it. And so I had to start thinking about like, when is it more important to do it even if the cost seems great? So like, that's a lot of money. I don't know. Can I afford that? No, I can't afford it. I'll figure it out. 2, you know what? That's a lot of money, but I will forego the shoes or the trip. Mm-hmm. I'm actually just going to pay for this, or I'm going to invite somebody in or do a strategic partnership, which is great. Mm-hmm. Strategic partnerships are great because with a strategic partnership, they already had the resources and they got the money to do it. Mm-hmm. And they know how to do it. So if I'm partnering with an organization or an individual that has a unique set of skills, we can leverage that with the things that I do well. So I can stay in my lane, I breathe easier, and the work gets done at the level that I want it to do.
That's awesome. And I love the connection between your personal life and your business life, because we don't often think that our personal lives give us business skills or that those things translate. But I'm a big believer in, if you're going through development of yourself, whether it's professional or personal, is it going to cross over into the other thing? Because we like to say we're going to leave home at home and work at work, but it never happens that way, especially for entrepreneurs.
I don't really trust people that say that they can leave home at home. Mm-hmm. I don't believe people that say they can leave work at work. And I'm still trying to find that balance of work is work and home is home. But what I realized as an entrepreneur is that home is work is home for me
Yeah.
because I'm actually doing the things that I love to do.
Mm.
And even if it means that I have to forego doing something that for other people would be like, "Oh, you don't have no fun." I have a lot of fun. I I have a lot of fun. I
Right.
mean, so I'm not in a deficit there.
Right.
So I'm having fun and I know how to pull myself back. But I also think that sometimes it's okay for you to define your work-life balance as opposed to what
Mm.
other people think it should be.
I completely agree with that. And I tell people all the time work-life balance is nothing, right? It doesn't exist
Yeah.
until you create it. One of the things that you said that really stood out to me that I want us to talk a little bit more about is loving what you do, right? Most of us that have started businesses from doing something we love.
Mhm.
So how do you balance loving the work and also realizing that it's business and you've got to put some boundaries on yourself?
So I do lean on my kids a lot because they're adults, right?
Yeah.
And so that helps. So it's always important to have people around you that can call you out and remind you to reset and recenter when you need to.
Mm-hmm.
And so I have friends like you that will say, "What are you doing?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's nice, but what are you doing?" And it's also important for you to take heed of when things are becoming overwhelming and it's bleeding too much into the thing. Like, I'm never going to go to sleep dreaming about stuff. Not going to do that. And I'm not. I'm, I am not going to dream about my work. And I get concerned when I meet people
Mm-hmm.
who have allowed for it to bleed that far
Mm.
into what they do. The other part to it is that I also create ways for me to make sure that I'm centering myself. So
Hmm.
Mondays and Fridays are my days, and Wednesday mornings,
Mm.
unless I can't get around it. So Mondays and Fridays, I'm keeping my schedule extremely light on purpose.
Mm-hmm.
It means that I can work on the things that are like things that I've been envisioning that I want to suss out a little bit more, where I won't feel like, oh, I got to do this, oh, I got to do that. I can just really be in my zone. And I've created that space for me. The other part to it is um, being fine with creating a schedule that doesn't look like everybody else's. So I'm not going to, like, I get up at 5:30 in the morning, but that's really me time,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's not, oh, let me get my computer out and then so if I actually don't start work until like 10 or 11, and then I take a break and I go out and do some things, or then I come back and I'm like, okay, well, I'm gonna give myself like another hour that I want to work, but it's 10 o'clock at night. But I made the decision to
Mm.
do it. I didn't feel any pressure for it.
Mm-hmm.
Then I'm fine. And the other part to it is that it's really like I was actually talking to a friend of mine last week, and he asked me what my values were, and I mentioned that one of my values is boundaries,
Mm-hmm.
and he was like, um, "That's are you sure that's a value?"
People have a thing about boundaries, but
Right?
yes, go ahead.
Are you sure that's a value? And I was like, it's absolutely a value. And he was like, oh, it's just that when I think of boundaries, now it's like, that's fine for you.
Mm.
So the thing that I am really adamant about is creating the definitions myself for
Mm.
me. Right. So
Mm.
when he asked me about values, I was like, listen, he said, do you see yourself um, wanting to expand your boundaries a little bit? And I was like, absolutely not.
No.
No, I'm not going to do that.
Fair.
They are there because I have been an open book for so long.
Mm-hmm.
And as I'm learning more about myself, my way that I want to engage in the world and the work that I want to do, it is extremely important for me to shore down those boundaries, make sure they tight, and make sure that I am keeping the promises I made to myself.
Oh, whew, you're preaching to the choir to me, but to my listeners, people need to hear that because boundaries are one of the things I hear founders struggle with the most. Leaders in general, people, really. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
But definitely when we start to get to levels where we're responsible for people, we're responsible for doing things, and then certainly as an entrepreneur, being able to put those boundaries not just on others but on yourself
Mm-hmm.
is so important. And as I was listening to you talk, I was actually thinking about a previous episode where I talked about scheduling and calendars and really owning the time, because that really spoke to me as you were talking about, if I'm working till 10 o'clock at night because I chose to, right? I decided that's what I was going to do because I did other things throughout the day on my own time because I decided that and I'm owning that and I can do that because that was my decision. So that is resonating deeply with my audience and connecting with what I'm preaching in this podcast. So that's awesome. I do want to transition a little bit and talk about strategic partnerships because, as I mentioned, you are one of the masters in my sphere. Yes, yes, you are very good at it. Again, not just to so that you can get your offers out there, but to elevate them. So tell us a little bit about how you approach strategic partnerships, um, and just whatever comes to mind as you talk about those strategic partners and how you connect with them.
So I will first admit that I was trash at connecting with because I would say yes to everybody, and you would yell at me.
I did.
It's because I just have like I'm always able to say, "Oh, that's very cool. I like something that's happening there that I want to actually pull in." But I had to become more aligned with what are my specific goals going to be for the actions I'm going to create, right? So if I'm going to create an installation, it has to make sense. Like this last set of collaborations that I did, my goal was to actually make a multicultural experience happen that also was multilingual. And so for me to do that, I needed to connect with a community partner that already had that infrastructure, right? And so they have the audience that we're looking for, and they had the skill sets necessary to like line up with the project I wanted to create. So when I said I want multilingual, they said we got you. We had the people that were going to be able to benefit from that, and we also had folks that could translate to make it a very smooth experience. So it's about identifying what is your why. And then once you figure out your why, making sure that it aligns with all of your missions, all of the values for your company, not just your personal stuff, but it literally has to match who you are on paper. If it doesn't match who you are on paper, then you're probably going to end up with a problem in terms of that partnership. In addition to that, you have to spend some time connecting with folks before you ever work with them
Yeah.
to make sure that this is somebody you can work with. I like a lot of people. I can't work with a lot of people.
True. That's a great point. And something that I don't think people think about enough of, right? So you also ultimately just described the strategy that I shared in the episode for the hero habit, and so I want you to share just one last thought about what we've been talking about that comes to mind for you that you think is a good tip or strategy for the listeners.
It is really important for you to just be okay. Like, it's all right to just be. You don't have to be what other people expect from you. So spend some time refining what it is that you want to put into the world and make that a part of the strategy for the work that you do. And give yourself flexibility and give yourself grace, like give yourself a lot of grace. And step away when you need to, knowing that things will just be where they are or they'll be better because you'll be in a position to actually think about it differently.
Girl, it sounds like you've been listening to me. So thank you so much for joining the show and sharing about all the ways that you manage the stress of being an entrepreneur in relation to seeking help in strategic partnership and managing that hero habit. So thank you again for being on the show. It's my girl. So again, I encourage you to hop in the show notes, read more about Serita and the work that she does with UrbnSEEK. Connect with her as well, and you'll also find information about how to connect with me when you're ready to take your team to the next level. So thank you again, Serita, for joining the show. I hope you all enjoyed it. If you're watching on YouTube, hop in the comments, share your thoughts and reflections. And as always, until next time, build trust and results will follow.